Coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Justin, you touched on it. Morgan Riley, I thought that was maybe his best skating game I've seen in a couple of years, to be quite honest with you. How much of a relief, or at least how happy you were to see Morgan moving so well?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I thought all camp he moved like that, so I wasn't surprised. I mean, he's skating and doing the things that we want him to do and that he needs to do. I was pretty impressed with him last night. Great to see him come out and play a real good game right off the hop, contribute offensively, and just do the things he can do. He's capable of doing, with or without the puck. And so he had a very solid game, very encouraging. But he put the work in all summer. He was prepared. Like I said, he had a real good camp. So I wasn't surprised that he went out and played the way he did.
The one area, guys got a great win last night. Obviously, not everything was perfect. As you mentioned, the power play seemed to struggle a little bit, and it's going to be a little different, I guess, the small personnel tweaks. Is that like the rest of the game where you feel it's just a directness thing is something that you want to emphasize, or is there something else you'll be looking for as you guys try to improve there?
Yeah, I thought we struggled on our entries on the power play last night. That's where the problems, in my opinion, came from. We only had two of them. We turned the puck over on one of them. They scored. The other one, we had the puck in the zone, and I thought it was just too slow moving the puck. I think, they just got to move the puck quicker. And then, obviously when you move it around, you don't want to overpass either, but you got to move it quick, and then it's got to go to the net at some point. And I didn't think that we did that, So, again, it's like our 5-on-5 game. We got to work on it, and we do work on it constantly, but we'll keep working on it. And it'll come around. But for me, it was the breakouts weren't very good in the PP last night, and ended up costing us a goal.
Another good sign, for me anyways, was Bobby McMahon. He looked like the guy that everybody was hoping would look like in the playoffs. And I know he struggled a lot at the end of last season, but he looked big, he looked strong, he looked heavy, he went to the net. To me, it's another good sign.
Yeah, and, this has been conversations with Bobby from the end of last year throughout the summer and before camp of how he needs to play, and I thought he executed that well last night. I agree with you. He was skating, challenging, D-wide with the puck, physical, got to the net, got a goal. I mean, those are the types, that's what he does for us, and that's what we need from him every night. I mean, so, again, good on him that, he took the information and he went out and executed it.
Craig, I know that coaches would say this is a good problem to have. You have a guy like Calle Yarncroc who shows up at camp and looks great camp, seems healthy, scores a goal last night. He's really good for you. There's a lot of people going, okay, well, where's Easton Cowan fit in? But Yarncroc's an experienced veteran guy for you. Does it complicate things? Obviously, it's good to have good players. Where are you at with Yarncroc, and when can we expect to see Cowan in the mix?
Yeah, I'm glad we have Yarny because I think he's a guy that, you can use in different situations. He can play with good players. He can play in your fourth line, kills penalties, checks well. He covers a lot of areas, and, he's a great person, great teammate. So we're lucky to have him, in my opinion, and I like him a lot. And Cowan, yeah, I mean, we didn't play him last night, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be in next game. Maybe he won't be, maybe he will be. But, we got to have a little patience there. But at the same time, I got to make sure that he's not out too long because he needs to play. So I got to find a way to get him in there. These are the discussions that we constantly have, myself, Brad, the coaching staff. So, Cowan, I thought he came in and proved himself at camp and did a good job of doing things right and understanding what he has to do to make the team. And I thought he did that. So it's just about managing the lineup. Listen, you have 2 or 3 extra players, right? And we don't want them obviously sitting out too long. We want them all to play and contribute. A lot like we did last year. I mean, I thought that we used everybody pretty much the whole season. There is stints where guys more on defense, don't get in there that much if they're the 7D, but we try to use everybody, and I don't see it changing.
Craig, how does the workload schedule change for your goaltending, particularly Stolars with Joseph Wall not there and Caden Primo waiting in the wings here?
Yeah, well, it changes, obviously, and I thought, last year we rotated pretty regularly throughout the year. That changed a little bit, obviously, right now. Stoley's in a good spot, feels great. So the schedule will determine starts, for sure. There's back-to-back games coming up and things like that. So, but there's going to be a little bit more load on Stoley. We all know that.
So is it kind of like when it is the back-to-backs or whatever, with Primo, we know he's going to get some games. Will Hilda be in the mix at all for you guys, or are you going to give these two a chance to run for a little while here?
Well, he can be too. Hildeby can be, but again, he's a little bit like Cowan. We don't want him sitting up here and sitting out rather than playing. He's a young goalie that has a great future, so it's best that he gets playing, right? Again, but he's available, so we'll see what happens. Where we're going to go from there.
I got to ask you about a familiar face that is off your championship team in St. Louis, Sammy Blaze. Was that your claim off waivers, or was that Brad Treliving's?
That's Brad. But he's, Sammy, the name was brought up here before, so he knows that I coached Sammy, and I like Sammy a lot. He did well for us, and he was part of that championship team, and he's a guy that he's gonna be physical out there. He likes to take the body, and he's got surprisingly good hands. He has the capability of making some plays and scoring some goals. We'll see. Like I said, we got extra players. We're going to try to find a way to get them in.
And I guess the last name I have on my list to ask you about while we had you was Nick Robertson, who continued to have a great training camp. Played 57 games for you guys last year. It's been tough for him, right, to get opportunity, I think, at times, but at the same time, played a lot last year. Where are you at with his game and his ability to, I guess, grow within the Leafs?
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like he has to continue to grow as a player, and he has the capability of shooting the puck in the net. He works hard, he skates, he's quick. I thought he came into camp and came out and showed everybody that he belongs on the team. Like, I thought he had a good camp. Again, he doesn't. Obviously, the things outside and all the noise is not affecting him, because he came into camp and he earned the spot, played well, and started last night. He was in the lineup. So that's on him. He did a good job there. And like I said, we like him. And, he provides speed, and he has the ability to shoot the puck in the net. So, like I said, he's part of the team. We got extra guys, and we got to try to figure out. It's game by game, see where we're at. There might be guys in and out, so we can get everybody playing.
It seems to me, Craig, that you got a handful of guys that are kind of in this mushy middle where they could play anywhere between 9 and 13, 14 minutes. Is there ability for one of them to step up and start going into that 15 to 18 minute mark? You had a guy like Mitch Marner, and we know he's gone, but you knew he could play 23, 24 minutes. And is there a guy that you can develop now, or ultimately would